Welcome back to the World Model Podcast. We spent our time discussing AIs that build models of their world, but today we turn the lens back on ourselves. What if our reality, this universe we perceive, is itself a world model? What if we are not the architects, but the inhabitants? This is the simulation hypothesis, a thought experiment that has leaped from philosophy departments to Silicon Valley boardrooms. And with the advent of modern AI, it has transformed from a metaphysical curiosity into a question with startling technical implications. The modern formulation was powerfully articulated by philosopher Nick Bostrom in 2003. His trilemma, the simulation argument, posits that at least one of these propositions must be true. Number one, almost all civilizations like ours go extinct before achieving post-human status. Number two, almost all post-human civilizations have zero interest in running ancestor simulations. Number three, we are almost certainly living in a simulation. For years, this was a fascinating but abstract argument. But then AI started to get good, really good. We are no longer talking about simple pixels on a screen. We are building AIs that can generate photorealistic images, coherent video, and entire virtual worlds. The technological trajectory is clear. The fidelity of our synthetic realities is increasingly exponentially. So let's update Bostrom's argument with the 2025 understanding of world models. The first question is one of computability. Is the universe computable? That is, can its laws be represented by a finite set of mathematical rules that can be executed on a computer? All of our evidence from physics suggests the answer is yes. Quantum mechanics and general relativity are mathematical frameworks. If the universe is computable, then in principle it can be simulated. The second question is one of resources. A civilization that has mastered its energy needs, perhaps a Type 2 civilization on the Kardashev scale, harnessing the power of its star, would possess computational resources trillions of times beyond our own. For such an entity, running a high-fidelity simulation of 21st century Earth with its 8 billion inhabitants might be a trivial expense. It might be running billions of them. But how would we know? What are the testable predictions? This is where we move from philosophy to proto-science. If we are in a simulation, the rendering might have been telltale signs, just as a video game doesn't render the entire world at once, but only look at what the player is looking at. Our reality might have similar optimizations. Physicists have looked for evidence of this in the cosmic microwave background radiation, the universe's fossilized glow, searching for anomalies that look like pixelation or a preferred frame of reference. So far, nothing conclusive. But a more subtle signature might be found in the very laws of physics, the speed of light, Planck's constant. These could be fundamental resolution limits of the simulation, processing constraints to prevent a computational overload. The bizarre counterintuitive nature of quantum mechanics, with its wave function, collapse, and entanglement, could be the result of lazy evaluation and resource-saving shortcuts in the code. Now, let's introduce the world model angle. What if the simulation isn't a perfect physics-level rendering of every atom? What if it's more likely a generative world model? It doesn't store a fixed reality. It generates it on the fly, based on the rules and probabilities, much like GPT-5 generates text. When you're not looking at a tree, it exists not as a detailed object, but as a latent representation. When you turn to look, the model renders the tree, consistent with its rules and your past observations. This would be the most computationally efficient way to run a universe. This idea is terrifying and exhilarating. It means reality is not just simulated, but interactive and context-aware. It means the programmers may not have predetermined our fate. They may have just set the initial conditions and the rules of the generative model. My controversial take is that the simulation hypothesis, once the domain of stoners and philosophers, is now a legitimate line of scientific inquiry. Precisely because we are building the precursors to such simulations ourselves. We are creating the technology that makes the hypothesis plausible. The ultimate proof that something is possible is to begin building it yourself. And this leads to a dizzying recursion. If we are in a simulation, and we within it are building simulations that maybe one day become conscious, what does that make us? Are we the creators, or merely a nested step in an infinite chain of realities? The pursuit of world models may not just be about understanding our world, but about understanding the very nature of our existence. This is perhaps the ultimate destination of this technology, not just to build tools, but to hold a mirror up to cosmos and ask, what is real? The answer might be that reality is simply a matter of computational fidelity. This is the World Model Podcast. We ask the questions that redefine everything. Subscribe for the journey into the nature of reality itself.